Hello everyone, Ben here, and I'm joined by Rich,
Hello.
who you've probably never seen before, but thankfully he's just been to see some Warhammer stuff for us, and now he's going to tell us all about it. You've been to see the Wood Elves, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
And so what are they like? What makes them special?
Well, the Wood Elves in the tabletop and in Total War Warhammer are your avoidance army, your shooting army, your running around and jumping away from the enemy army. They have a number of different varieties of archer. They can shoot in 360 degrees. They can shoot while they're moving. Some of them can shoot from horseback. Some of them can even shoot while riding a warhawk. These are things that no other army in the game can really do.
So what I'm hearing right now is bows.
Yeah,
We're talking lots of bows.
Lots and lots of bows. Lots of arrowheads as well, actually. You can choose, for certain troop types, you can choose between one or three different varieties of arrowhead to give your units a different kind of magical attack. So some of them are magical attacks, some of them are flaming attacks, some of them are poisoned attacks.
And do these like counter different things, or are they just? I mean, why would you choose flaming over poison, for example?
Well, ironically enough, if you were fighting other wood elves, you'd have flammable targets to shoot at, so you choose flaming attacks.
Made of wood.
Yeah, there are other things in the game that flaming attacks can poison as well. So some creatures can regenerate, and flaming attacks counters that.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Like the trolls, right?
the trolls. That's right. I think Chaos Spawn might be able to as well.
Okay.
And Chaos Spawn are a real pain, as I found in the battle that we played. But it's not just shooting. You can use there's a troop type called Wild Riders, which are your knights. They're your shock cavalry. They use lances. They charge in. They have a very brutal charge. They ride stags, which have a great prancing animation that I enjoy quite a lot.
That stuff's very important. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, well, it's all about the look and feel.
Exactly.
And even more so than with other cavalry, because Wild Riders, they don't have much armor like Chaos Knights or Bretonnian Knights, for instance. So even more so than with those knights, you'll have to charge them into combat and then micro like crazy to pull them back out again to make sure they don't get bogged down or stuck in for too long.
This is because they're fragile, right? They're spindly elves, and if they sit in combat for too long with Chaos Warriors with massive axes, then they're not. That's the end of them.
That's the end of them, exactly.
So
right.
So overall, do you think it's like a hit and run style thing? That's what they're going for?
That's definitely what it's like on the elven side of the army. So, charge them with your Wild Riders, pull them out, and then shoot a lot with your elves. But the elves share the forest with the tree spirits. And trees are very much harder to kill than elves. So you can recruit tree men or tree kin, which are the smaller versions of tree men. They're kind of equivalent to ogres or chaos spawn in size. And then there are dryads, which are sort of woody infantry, as it were, normal shaped sort of trees. And this side of the army gives you a lot more sort of toughness and endurance in combat. And there are two different legendary lords. There's Orion, who represents the Wood Elves, and there's Durthu, the ancient tree man, who represents the forest spirits. And depending on the legendary lord that you use to lead your army, recruiting that side of the forest will be a little bit easier and a little bit cheaper. And that ties into their strategic mechanics there.
So is that kind of a choice then between having a lot of ranged units and trying to do hit and run and skirmishing, or getting in there and smashing people up as you might with a perhaps a more standard army within Warhammer or even within Total War?
Yeah, that's broadly correct. I wouldn't necessarily say the tree side of things is standard. They're very much tougher. I mean, even dryads are much tougher than ordinary infantry. But yeah, that's broadly correct. So even more so than with other armies, your choice of legendary lord will really affect your playstyle when it comes to the Wood Elves.
Cool. So all right, give me the sell. Talk about the dragon. Tell me about the dragon.
Yeah, the dragon is actually it's a welcome addition because there's only one proper dragon in the game right now, and that just
travesty, absolute travesty.
It just won't do for a fantasy game, let alone a Warhammer game. The orcs and goblins have a wyvern, but that doesn't really count. So
No.
the forest dragon is the Wood Elves' new dragon. It's a tier 5 monster. I'm not sure if it's a mount option for your combat lord, the Glade Lord, but I think it probably ought to be.
Definitely, yeah. Gotta ride a dragon.
And it sort of floats there in the air with sort of lazy confidence. I really like its animations and its model. It's got moss dripping from its horns and everything. It looks really, really cool.
I was watching some of the footage earlier, and yeah, the thing about it is that it doesn't. It looks like a dragon, right? But it looks like a dragon that is within this army. Like, it doesn't look out of place, even though it's so completely different from a giant tree or a spindly elf or whatever.
Yeah,
It does seem really well designed. What does it do? Does it kill people?
No, it kills people really well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
There is a breath attack that it uses if you look at its animations, but when I was playing with it, there wasn't a button to press to trigger that forcibly, so it doesn't actually have much micro. I think you just send it into combat and it fights.
Fair enough.
But
that's what I would do if I was a dragon.
It's pretty good at what it does.
All right, so if you want to see any more, you've written a preview. There's also a news post, and we've also got a load of other stuff about Total War going up over the next 24 hours or so, all from that trip. Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Excellent. We'll talk to you later.